right? Like a doctor, they've gone to medical school. Do we want that doctor kind of going off on left field and off onto tangents? Or do we want him to follow his training?
Right.
Training.
How about an actor? When we watch a movie, do their lines, does it sound like they're saying their lines robotically?
Nope.
But are they following a script?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I sometimes I feel bad, like if I'm not bad, if I'm doing an enrollment, right? And I have all the employees coming in, if someone in the office happens to be near where I'm working, I'm like, oh, this poor person, they have heard me say the same thing 10 times today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you like say like the same things. And yeah, situations, there might be little variances because you do have to, answer their questions and keep them engaged and take care of their needs. But overall, it's the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I hope we're helping you feel a little better here. Ken, thank you for that.
You got it, Trish.
All right. So we're kind of in our middle of our roadblocks to success. So last week, kind of last 2 weeks, we talked about sourcing. And a big one is dealing with the rejection. But this week, we're actually going to focus on objections. Because sometimes what looks like a rejection is really an objection. And Ken, Greg, we never deal with objections, right?
Never, ever.
Never, ever. Never, ever, ever.
What's a rejection?
So a rejection is a no. What's a rejection? Right. What's that? No,
I was joking.
All right, I'm sorry. And it's hard on the Zoom sometimes, right? Well, guys, everybody just loves to see us. They're so happy that we interrupted their day to sell them a cancer plan, right? So, all right, let's have something funny.
We don't take no for an answer.
Oh, yeah. We don't take no for an answer. We don't take no for an answer. We don't take no for an answer. No. Okay. Gotcha. Thanks. Terrific. Thanks for your time. Let me say, maybe.
Well, then, I'd just like to add that the spectrometer readout on the nickel-cadmium alloy mix indicates a good rich strobin fade, decreasing incidence of wear to the pressure plate. If you could just...
Whoa, little fella, speaking my language. What my associate is trying to say is our new brake pads are really cool. You're not even going to believe it. Like, let's say you're driving along the road with your family, and you're driving along, la-la-la, woo. Then all of a sudden, there's a truck tire in the middle of the road, and you hit the brakes. Whoa, that was close.
We don't take no.
All right, because there's just a little levity here for a minute. So no doesn't always really have to mean no. No doesn't have to be an absolute flat out rejection. No can really be more of what's considered an objection. But our clients aren't going to say to us, I need more information. I mean, they may, but more likely they're going to voice a concern. And that concern is just a way to ask for more information. So they're letting you know, I see the value of family heritage, but I'm not getting on board because of X reason. Is any thoughts on that idea?
I think it's one of those things you have to be having enough rapport with them to kind of feel where that's coming from. Because if it's just, okay, well, now what do I say? Or which objection or which rebuttal, or, do I need to go back over more information? Do I need more testimonials? It's one of those things where you really have to be able to read the situation to know what blank you're filling in.
Absolutely. What is it, Van or Brad? We are a Our presentation is a Broadway play put on by a psychologist. Absolutely. So we do have to, our conversation with them is two ways. And I say do more listening than you do talking. Ask questions. Don't talk for more than 30 to 45 seconds, maybe a minute. Because if they're talking, they're feeding you all sorts of information all the time. And then as sales professionals, we can kind of unpack that information and help us guide the conversation. Because not just what we do, but any sales professional, what's our main purpose? And I really think about that. Anybody, not just us as family heritage reps. What's a sales professional's main job or main goal?
To give them something they need.
Right. When somebody goes to buy a new car, they need a new car. You go buy a new computer or a new phone, you need a new phone. It can make it a little more challenging for us because people might not realize what they need, that they don't realize they need what we have until we talk to them. But our job is to provide a solution. And if they didn't have these reservations, there's a chance they'd already would have purchased it somewhere else.
Trish, one thing I wanted to share, I had an opportunity to shadow Chelsea on Wednesday, and she did such a great job with, there was a man that we saw at the very, very end of the day. And just from the conversation, and we talked about this after, we could both tell that the money might be an issue. But Chelsea continued to stay super positive and keep him very engaged, even though his body language wasn't, sorry, that's my dog, the most positive. But at the very end, and I'm certain this is because Chelsea was just so engaging throughout the whole thing, he just busted out with, "Hey, I'm a pastor. Will you come to my church?" Wow. Which I thought was so exciting because even though he didn't look that engaged, he definitely saw the value of what she was bringing him.
That's right. No, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. You have to be very careful. You guys will learn to become very good body language learners. But sometimes, like Chelsea, you kind of have to rise above what they're showing you. I find that objections, and again, Greg and Ken, you can please help me with this. Objections fall into 4 basic types of categories. As we just talked about, price, product fit, competitors, and the good old brush off. So common objections, just like we talked about, hey, this is going to be too expensive. And that's before they've even seen the rates. Because in their mind, they're thinking of health insurance, right? So in their mind, they're already never going to fit the budget. And I have a great response to when someone says, well, hey, what does this cost? Got it from Craig Senna, and it works really well. And I think it just reduces the stress in the situation. And somebody asked me, hey, what does this cost? I tell them, let me ask you a question, or do me a favor, think about if you had a magic coffee can or cookie jar in your kitchen, whatever a comfortable dollar amount for you to put away in that jar, I can write things so many different ways that I can make what you and I do fit your budget for your coffee can. They may tell you they're not authorized to make the decision. I don't need this. This is a great one. Give me some information and call me back. I'm busy. Lastly, they may have already had a bad experience with a competitor. Do not let that one throw you out the door. Ken, Greg, any kind of thoughts on that before we?
Honestly,
most of those objections, like what you said about the great rush off or the assumption that it's going to be expensive because of that thing. Like, honestly, like, the sales presentation prepares you for all of those objections. And a lot of times, the first objection isn't even the real objection. So the key is just really having those automatic responses to those objections. That way, you don't get thrown off. You won't get thrown off by something that you don't necessarily.
Yeah, I think like Ken was saying, you want to reframe things. You want to view that objection as a positive rather than a negative, right? If they're not engaged enough with you to make a comment, they're probably not tracking. So if they're making comments, even if they're negative, that's actually a positive because they're paying attention to what you're saying. They're thinking about it. So your main goal, again, just like Ken was saying, was to alleviate their concerns and to continue to be presumptuous, continue to move forward. We have to be very presumptuous in everything we do and lead where our conversation was going. Let them know what the next step is. Don't wait for them, right? We get to the close, we ask for a decision, right? We don't just show them and stop. So it's up to us to lead the conversation. Don't, rather than act by pressuring them and backing them down, respond positively, just like Chelsea did. We have to allow that person the opportunity to change their mind and come to a different conclusion on their own. Nobody likes to be pressured into making a different decision. Guys, 1 second, guys. Mark came in for a second. All right, guys. We are going to look, and we're not going to watch the whole thing because it's long. Send it. But I'm going to get it going here.
New insurance agents struggle with objections. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps really quick, right? Who's ever gotten, I want to think about it. I want you to call me back. I wasn't planning on using this one, but this one's good. It's a big sell. Most agents retract because I don't want to screw this up. This is big. I don't want to get in the way. I don't want to kick them off, right? When I get a chance to close a big sell, I get more aggressive. I want to move into some phone tips. Who wants some phone tips really quick? If you like that, you'll love this. 2 hands. I love it. She's really ready. Once again, Cody Askins, founder of 8% Nation. And 8%ers do whatever they need to do to be successful. Who's ready?
All right.
I'm ready. I'm ready. John already stole my yeah. Okay? I say we do it again. Dude, I got to do it, man. I got to do, though, is I'm coming down for a quick second because I'm super honored.
I'm trying to get this in the right spot for you. Apologize. He's going to talk to
Miz is probably a better dancer than me. I guarantee it. Okay. Thank you guys for spending time with.
Guys, I'm sorry. I thought I found the time.
Something maybe you didn't know. I'm going to bring up my dad here in a few minutes. Talk about seminar marketing.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find the right spot.
Different things, again, from our live trainings we did. The first thing I want to talk about really quick is objections. New insurance agents struggle with objections, but you don't have to. So I'm going to give you 3 simple steps really quick. I call it the 3 A's. I love putting everything into easy steps that anyone can duplicate, replicate, implement into your business. These are the 3 A's to over every objection you ever get. Who's ready for that? Would that be cool if you actually walked out of here with specific steps to overcome objections? Okay, the first A is agree. You cannot be disagreeable. Most insurance agents are trained that when someone says, I'm not interested, to say, well, what do you mean you're not interested? You don't have enough information yet. That's kind of combative, isn't it? That's kind of disagreeable. That kind of doesn't work either. Okay? So, step one, agree. It doesn't mean you totally agree 100% with what they're saying, but it means you understand where they're coming from. And it means you're ready to get closer to the cell. Am I right? Who's ready to get closer to the cell? Okay? So step one, agree. They say, hey, I'm not interested. Perfect. Thanks for sharing that, right? Second A, answer their objection. Agree, answer, and ask. I believe in always finish with a question. That keeps you in what? Starts with a C. Control, man. Keeps you in control. Keeps the conversation flowing, keeps you in control, and it has them responding to you. The psychology of finishing with a question is powerful because when someone asks you a question, what do you typically do? You answer it. It's human nature, am I right? So, you're on the phone, because this is all about phone and objections this morning. I'm not interested. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. It's my job to just drop off the information. It's totally up to you with what you do with it. So should I drop this thing off? What do you think? In the morning or in the afternoon? Which is better? Does that help? Who does that help? Already, right? We're all about delivering value, and I want to do it right off the bat on day 2. Agree, answer, and ask. Someone shout out an objection. Already got insurance. Excellent. It's not my job to come and change everything. It's just my job to deliver the important information that you're wanting. So I'm going to be there on Thursday. Is morning or afternoon better for you? Okay, who's next? Is this free? Thank you so much for asking that. Great question. Social Security provides $255 to help with final expenses. The information's free. For me to come out's free. And it's my job to get you some important information because I'm the local field underwriter. I'll be there Friday. Should we hang out in the morning or afternoon? When should I drop this off? Who's next? I need to think about it. And you know what? Let's use this at the end of the appointment. How about that? Right? Who's ever gotten, I want to think about it. I want you to call me back. I wasn't planning on using this one, but this one's good. You ready? I've got 2 variations. I learned this from Brian Tracy, The Art of Closing the Sale, about a decade ago. I was listening to his audiobook, again, The Art of Closing the Sale by Brian Tracy. I was listening to his audiobook as a new agent every single day because I had 0 sales experience. No clue what I was doing. I was good at being personable, warming people up. I learned that was important. But I've got a no callback close that I learned from him that I use every time somebody wants to think about it. Every time someone wants me to call them back. And you can use it too. Eric's used it, am I right? So when someone, Brian Tracy's audiobook says that he would go around to all these homes as a new salesperson. And he had all these, Ernesto, I want to think about it, man. I want you to call me back. I'm not sure. I'm not ready. And before you knew it, he had like 40, 50 people thinking about it. He thought that everybody was going to call him back. Everybody was going to buy it. He was going to have all this business. He wouldn't even know what to do with it. It doesn't work, in case you were wondering, okay? He learned that when he got, I want to think about it 72 times, and that no one called him back, that I want to think about it, and I want you to call me back, is polite customer speak for goodbye forever. We will never meet again. Who feels that way? Do it. I also believe, and I'm going to give you the actual close in a second. I also believe that how you make decisions is how your prospect will make decisions to you. If you make decisions quickly, if you don't believe in calling people back, if you don't believe in thinking about it, and you believe in I'm either doing it or I'm not, and I'm being honest with the person, and I'm talking about it right now, I don't think about stuff. If I want a car, my wife rolled up she surprised me with a Jaguar convertible a few months ago, a couple weeks. And the guy rolls up and I test drive it. I'm like, okay, You guys want, I don't know, 36,000. I'll give you 32,000 if you could, get it done today. He's like, oh, we probably can't do that. Well, that's fine. I don't need the car then, right? I make decisions instantly. There's no reason to waste people's time. But because I buy that way, I expect others to buy that way. And they can sense it and they can feel it. So if you're someone deep down thinks about stuff and wants people to call you back, and you want people to think about it, right? And you want to think about it, then that's probably the main reason you're getting that objection. I don't get it as much anymore. Think about that. It's a hard truth, but it's true, okay? So Brian Tracy, he had all these people saying, I want to think, and he finally got fed up with it. Who's fed up with, I want to think about it, I want you to call me back? Dude, I'm with you. So he finally... Ed, you ready? He finally said, this is good now. He finally said,
I'm sorry, we keep getting to the good part and it keeps stopping. I have terrible internet.
It's worth waiting for.
Guys, as we're waiting for the internet to catch up, and any thoughts? Oh, here we go.
this is the no callback close. And I've got an aggressive version and a non-aggressive version that a lot of you have heard before. He simply says with this no callback close, I understand that you want to think about it. Unfortunately, I have a no callback policy. Everything you need to make an informed decision today, why don't you just take it? He tried that on his first appointment after getting about 40 people telling him he was going to. And they said, well, if I can't think about it, then I guess I got to do it. So I'm sitting with a agent in Niagara.
Internet in Mississippi is not our friend today. Guys, any thoughts about how Cody's bringing this up?
Several years ago, and we're sitting with Miss Mary, was her name, really was, and had $300 a month sale. We're to close a $300 a month sale. When I get in front of big sales, I'm definitely not letting those go. Most
This is getting crazy. I apologize. I can always send if that will help. But what Cody was saying about the agree, the answer, and the ask. Why is the first to agree with them? What's our agreeing with them showing?
We understand them. We're on the same page. We're not trying to fight them on anything or trying to push them into something, but we understand where they're coming from.
Shows compassion.
Yep, empathy.
And Trish, also, that's typically something they're not expecting. That kind of helps them drop their guard because they're not expecting you to agree with them.
Yeah, that's good, Greg. I would agree with that. Is Trish still there?
It looks like she must have dropped off. It looked like it froze, and now I don't see her in the list. Our internet's really giving her a headache today.
Hey, while we're waiting on Trish to come back, Greg, I just want to thank you, man, for like the conversation that we had before I started. And I mean, it all goes right back up to the trainers, man. Like Brian Lozinski just did an awesome job with me, training me in the field. And then I just want to give credit where credit's due, man. Greg, you I think helped my nerves a little bit and settled me down. So Sarah, I want to encourage you, just be yourself. Just trust the process and just keep on grinding. And you know, what happened to me this week is that we got into a Walmart and the doors were just open for us, like incredibly. But so just started working the system. And once the doors are open in a business like that, you just take advantage. You just go to work. 1 second, y'all. I gotta order something.
Brian, I appreciate that, man. And you know, you and I had a long talk, but that's what we're all here for. That's why we have these calls. That's why we do what we do. Because you know, there's days I have down days, and I reach out and talk to people, find out, you know, hey, you know, am I missing something here? Or because trust me, when I started out, it'll be a year next month, and it was hard. You know, Brad Phillips told me up front, he said, I never said it'd be easy. I just said it'd be worth it. And, you know, I started out in COVID. All we were doing was terminated lists. That's all I had to work off of because I had no client base.
Brian.
And
Brian.
Hey guys, it's Trish. Greg, thank you for stepping in. My internet, I am not sure. It's not working super well here in Mississippi this morning. So I don't want to, we can try again, or we can kind of stop for that PowerPoint and pick it up again next week. Can you guys see my screen again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Greg, thank you so much for jumping in there. Greg, I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation. Let you guys know that I'm back here. Let's see if we can. Basically, we'll have to kind of try a code again maybe next week. Cody was dealing with, or his what is it, agree answer. That translates into what Family Heritage teaches is feel, felt, found. Why is the first thing we want to do to agree with them or to listen to their concern?
Acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it, yeah. Acknowledge somebody or even yourself, right? You have something that's bothering you. If Greg comes to me and he's like, you know, I'm really feeling beat up today. If I just say, well, Greg, you know, get over it. Really, Greg? Can you tell me about it? You know, what's happening? What response is going to help Greg feel more valued?
I understand how you feel. Life sucks sometimes. And then kind of move forward with what's the solution.
Right. People want to be validated. So that's listening and acknowledging their concern. Cody says ask. This little Lear method says explore the concern. By asking a question, we're talking less than they're talking more, right? When they talk, they give us information that we can use to give a better response. Right? Again, if Greg and I are talking, Greg is you, and he's like, oh, well, this, you know, my day's really sucking. I'm, you know, have all these doubts, or all these people, or I'm getting yelled at left and right. And I kind of dig in and ask him questions. Again, he's going to feel validated, but at the same time, it gives me some insight as to how to help Greg. And maybe there's an issue with his approach. Maybe he's asking the right questions. try to pick on you, hope you don't mind. Because then we only respond when you completely understand their concern. It's a lot of different, like, you know, sometimes people will just, something happens and somebody will fly off the handle and get upset. But a better response is to kind of take a step back and ask questions, explore and get curious. So don't get defensive. Take a deep breath. You're the professional. Ask some questions and get curious. And then be presumptuous. Keep moving forward. Offer your response as a form of recommendation or an alternative way of thinking. We don't want to flat out tell somebody, well, you're wrong. You know, it's not this or it's not that. This is what it really is. You want to give them a different way of thinking about it, because then you're saving their ego. So we talked about some common objections: price, I'm not decision, I'm busy, send me information. So let's just take a second. I guess I apologize about the internet issues. Somebody says this objection, it's too expensive. We already talked a little bit about a good response, the word response and not rebuttal. I think the word response is less aggressive. Remember, it's our job is not to be aggressive. Nobody wants to sit with somebody who's aggressive. So somebody says, hey, this is too expensive. What's a good comeback to that one? Or not a comeback, a good response. So we talked about it before. You know what? Don't worry about the price. Everybody's worried about it. Whatever your budget is, I can make it fit that. That little cookie jar analogy, that's huge. Everybody understands that and they kind of laugh about it. But it's letting them know that they're setting the price, not you. I don't need it. Somebody says they don't need it. They probably don't realize what you're doing. You probably think you're health insurance or life insurance. Somebody says, I don't need it, I have health insurance. You know, again, a positive response. Just ask, are you thinking about you don't need this because you already have health insurance? I'll just tell you real quick, I have nothing to do with health insurance. I'm here directly for your family. I'm not the one who makes that decision. You know what? I'd love to meet Mr. Manager, and I'd be more than happy to do that and look forward to it. But we view this as an individual decision, not a company-wide decision. And I can show you just as well as I can show them. I'm busy, send me some information, call me back. That can be polite customer speak, is, you know, get out of here. That one I think is a little bit of a, you have to be able to read the situation. Businesses don't say, oh, I cannot wait for someone to come interrupt my day to sell me cancer insurance. So if you get there and you can tell that, you know, they have 10 projects going on at once and the phone's ringing off the hook, they may truly be busy. I think we have to give them the same grace that we would want someone to give us, and be willing to be flexible within reason. I mean, not drive 2 hours back and forth. I was looking at too that if they have a definite return appointment for me that's on everybody's calendar, that means a lot more to me than well, just give me something and maybe stop back by. Those I don't go back to. But if I have a definite appointment on the calendar, those I will return to. Just like we talked about last week, sophisticated customers, if they let us know they need time, they may really need that time because they're going to go just do something with value up with it, right? They may really need to check their budget so they know they're making the best decision. They may want to look and study the different product levels carefully. When we show it to them, it's the first time they've ever seen it. And again, if somebody says, okay, I love it, I appreciate it, it's going to fit, can you please come back Friday at 2? If I have that definite time, I am okay with that. Perfect example yesterday, I have a company I think they rearranged their appointment for me to show them twice, but they always sent me an email confirmation of the appointment. And yesterday when I went, they were busy, but they made time. They sat down with me and they had me coming Monday. They have 8 employees and they pay for everyone's accident coverage. And like Sarah talked about, showing them that flexibility, that's building rapport. That's showing that, hey, I understand that you're busy. But you do have to protect your own schedule. I've had a couple of enrollments where I've gotten there and they're like, whoops, forgot you're coming. And I was like, you know what? This was all my schedule. You're here, I'm here. Why don't we just move forward with this? So being presumptuous, leading the conversation. I think it can be a fine line between letting them kind of run you ragged and taking care of their concerns. Competitors, we don't need you, we have Aflac. Do not let that send you out the door. We will do a whole day on how to deal with that objection. I actually like when they tell me they have a competitor, because if they already have us, we talked about in the beginning, what does that show they've already recognized? That already shows that they recognize their need for it, right? That's huge. That's half of our battle. They already know they need it. And then it's just our role to step in and show them that there's an alternative and how we do things differently. My company yesterday, we'll use them again. Their Aflac agent is one of the few that actually does her job. And the company feels terrible canceling on her. But in the end, we talked about it. So I agreed with her concern. I acknowledged it. And then we had a conversation about how it's better to do something. We have to take care of ourselves first. And their Aflac agent has no control over what she offers. We do. If we can offer something better, right? That's helping yourself. Funny thing, the business owner was like, maybe I'll give her your card and she'd come work for you. All right, guys, any thoughts before we try to have one more last funny motivational video here? Is any thoughts, comments, questions? Greg, anything to add? Sarah, Mary Lou, BJ, Patrick?
No, just thank you guys and have a great Friday. I do got to run. I got an appointment at 9 o'clock in here back in Walmart.
All right, Brian, you go in, Brian. Thank you, and technical difficulties. Thank you.
I thank you. I thank you guys. Y'all have a great Friday.
Bye, Brian.
Y'all too. Have a great day.
Bye. All right, guys. See if the internet works.
There's 86,400 seconds in a day. The separator between me and you and people that win and lose is what we do with those seconds. You want to win? You want to be a millionaire? You got to quit being slow. You walk slow. You talk slow. You implement things slow. You good game like you're going to be somebody. Wake up. You're going to get your ass kicked, dude. You got to get focused and get in a hurry. The separator is going to be who takes massive action quickly.
And that's why most people never realize their personal greatness, because they're casual about life. And when you're casual about life, you will end up a casualty. You've got to develop a sense of urgency. Start working and developing yourself down and for what it is that you want, because you expect to get it.
You meet somebody wealthy? Their family at one point was not wealthy. And then the one shows up. The one. One person changes the family tree forever. In my family, I'm the one. And it wasn't because I wanted it or I hoped for it. I fought for it. I want to win. I want to fight for my family. I want my mom and dad proud of me. I want my kids proud of me. I want me proud of me. I want to look in the mirror and be happy with the man I look back at. That he gave it everything. That he went for it.
You got to focus on you. And as you convince you will begin to see a difference in the things that you're doing. Selling yourself on your ability to perform a job. Telling yourself every day, here I go again. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me.
Everything has to do with you intending to win. If you make that shift, I'm going to win. We're going to play to win now. We're not playing to play. We're not playing to see how we do. We're not playing for fun. Once you decide to win, once you start getting some winning, you start changing. You talk different. You walk different. You can change you. You'd be surprised how good you'd be if you just decide to win. Be number one in your office. Number one in your region.
And don't get caught up in, well, I tried it 4 or 5 times and things didn't work out. If there's something that you want and you're hungry for it, you've got to do what is required.
Successful people stop negotiating the price in their life. You don't see all your success. You keep negotiating the price you're paying. Man, all the work I'm putting in is paying off. I don't see my family's money. I gotta do all this. You start negotiating it all the time, and it's sapping all your damn energy. Successful people don't negotiate price, they negotiate worth. Could this be worth it to me to pay this? And once you decide it's worth it to win, it's worth it to be somebody, the negotiations stop. A year, 2, 3, 4, you get your big win, decide now, I'm going to walk off and be a different person. You decide that you're the lead character in the story of your life. That's the decision. Decide now. You're going to keep negotiating the work, or you not be mine.
Okay, guys.
There's 86,400 seconds in it.
There we go. All right, guys, thank you so much for being on the call with me, for putting up with the internet problems. That Cody Atkins, we may replay that or parts of it next week, because I think there's a lot of good things in there. Jeffrey, thank you. Greg, huge thanks for stepping in when we had the internet problems.
No, it's no problem.
All right, guys, no matter where we're at, if it makes you feel better, I'm sitting on 0-2, but that can change in an instant. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and we'll see everybody again next week. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Trish.
Bye. Thanks, Greg.
Great
Bye.
day.
Thanks, Jeff, for you too. Bye.
Just go ahead and catch all of that.